professionals who have made use of this webinar for their growth in last 7 to 8 months. We have tackled various topics that can be helpful for your growth as a professional. So I request you all to check out our YouTube channel for all the past webinars and follow our social media links to know more about topics like diversity, inclusion, latest jobs, mentoring sessions, and other industry updates. I'll be putting all the links in the chat box so that you can click on them and start following us there. Now, let's go ahead with today's session. 2020 has yet again established the importance of effective communication tools and team building. Teams whose foundation was strong could continue working and giving results in spite of the pandemic, and otherwise, many employees and organizations had a tough time managing with the new normal. As the 2020 year is ending, we should keep focusing on these tools and build strong organizational cultures. To shed light on this very critical topic, we have Sudha with us today. Let me introduce Sudha to everybody. Sudha is the founder and chief consultant of ProXel, where she facilitates, coaches, mentors people to improve their soft skills and maximize the potential in becoming able leaders and responsible citizens through a plethora of customized, success-driven, focused training programs. She's a seasoned Toastmaster and a public speaker with a strong drive to make a difference where it matters. Today, she'll touch upon a very important topic that will focus on the future of all the organizations, team building and communication. Welcome, Sudha. Thank you so much for joining us in today's session. Before she starts, let me just quickly give you a set of instructions that all of us will be on the mute mode when she's talking. But in case you have any questions or anything you want to ask, clarify, you can always use the chat box. We'll be taking the question towards the end of the session. Over to you, Sudha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ankita. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And thanks to Shenzhen for giving me this opportunity. I am super thrilled and excited to discuss on this much spoken or common topic, yet a very important topic. Right. Okay, so just to add a little bit to my introduction, I come from a corporate background where, having completed my master's in the US, I was totally into coding. And that gave me an opportunity to explore this great, massive world of IT. And the fact that the glamorous and so beautiful and promising that it seems outside, there are a lot of challenges and concerns that people still struggle even today, irrespective of their qualification, experience, and whatnot. The fact still remains that we are still trying to overcome those challenges with time and trying everything possible to make things as manageable and as smooth as possible. Now, having said that, corporate life has been a great experience and a wonderful credit to knowing and understanding how things work from the inside out, and also to get in depth of knowing the thought process of how people actually go ahead or set up these processes and progress and work things together. And after being in the corporate for quite some time, my interest and passion to interact with people has helped me move into this world of training, where I've done my Dale Carnegie certification and worked with a lot of corporate companies, including education institutions, pharmaceuticals, and whatnot. Got an amazing opportunity to become a TEDx speaker, and I also do a lot of social events, conferences, being a Toastmaster, and also get to organize TEDx events as well. So there's been a lot of interaction in different platforms with people, especially, and trying to understand the mindset. So I'm also a psychotherapist, which gives me an edge in seeing what is behind the screen, trying to understand where is the root cause of an issue and what can be focused and corrected wherever possible. That's the beauty of the entire, the setup or the work that I am so passionate about. And also the fact that, communication, leadership, functional training, behavioral, as well as emotional interactions are my core area of expertise. And currently, as I'm running my organization, ProXel, which is based out in Hyderabad in India. And I also have a branch in US where my partner takes care of it in Colorado, Denver. We do a highly satisfying work in trying to help people overcome their challenges in the best way possible by finding on the root cause, the root cause analysis, and working out a program which is very customized, and it just fits in like a glove, where they're able to connect, understand, and also apply the learnings immediately as soon as they're done with the program, the training. Great. Now, sharing a bit of my experience from the last 20 plus years that I've been in this field and the kind of interactions that I've had gives me tremendous pleasure again, once again. Okay, so thank you once again for this opportunity, and a very warm welcome and a good evening to each and everyone in this session who are listening to me right now. To begin with, I'll try to make it very interactive because I'm sure everybody in today's session are well versed with what teamwork is and what is communication. There's nothing new. It's not a rocket science. The fact that we need to understand the gaps, what actually happens and what actually is required, and how we can bridge the gap in between these two aspects is what makes it successful for each one of us. So let's just go through certain aspects of what it is, how we can, and probably share your inputs, thoughts, if you may, and try to make it very conversational so that we all get the best out of it, and maybe there's a learning in both ways. So to begin with, let me just ask you this basic question. And you're most welcome to turn your videos on, which will make it a little more lively, interactive. The fact that it's virtual, but still, when you see a person, it's a different feel. It's a different energy and a great connect, right? The fact that we have teams and we know communication is important, but how would you say, or rather, what is it, one specific ingredient or aspect in a team which is very, very important to make things work or make the entire process successful? Anybody would like to answer this, please? Please feel free. You can chat in the chat box, if not speak. Transparency. Wonderful. Thank you. Anything else?
I think maybe willingness to learn new things, like not get stuck with where you are, but understand different perspectives and maybe grow from there.
Absolutely. Excellent, Ankita. Thank you for that. I believe it's the growth mindset, right? Which is very essential to keep things moving in the right direction with a lot of positivity. And someone here says, Kushbu, thank you. She says equality, which is absolutely right. We need equality, we need transparency, we need a growth mindset. What else? Any other thoughts? Any other inputs? I know there are a lot, but if you can think of one specific aspect which would make it really important, or make it even more interactive, I mean, a successful teamwork.
I think the common awareness that all the team members should be having about the end goal or the one objective that all of us are moving towards. If that clarity is with the entire team, I think the entire team moves in a particular way.
Absolutely. Excellent, Ankita. Thank you for that answer. So the fact that, transparency, the common mindset, equality, and anything that you can think of, right? All this boils down to the basic fact that we need to communicate. And communication is the crux. It's like the root cause for anything to happen, to make things happen or break things up, right? So unless and until this is there, it becomes a huge challenge for anybody in a team, irrespective of their qualification, experience, or knowledge, whatever that they have, to make or drive things forward, isn't it? So I would put it this way, that the need for communication is crucial. We all know this. The need for teamwork is also crucial, because all the organizations keep driving on this, that we need teamwork, we need to focus, we need to see what's missing, and we need to work together. All those aspects are all the time spoken, right? But the fact that you need effective communication in order to have great, amazing, successful teamwork is even more crucial. Or rather, I would just say that it's something which is very integral part of the results or the outcome or the success of any kind of a business that you take. And if I have to compare, I would just say that, if you're running a machine for a long time, it would do well as long as it's working, right? It's running. But then when it's low on its oil and it needs to be lubricated constantly in order to keep it working smoothly. So this is a constant check or an effort that we put from our side in order to make things move forward. Communication is one such thing where you will have to keep focusing, putting in that extra effort and time in order to ensure that the relations, the interactions, the transparency, the equality, the motivation, the drive, all these aspects are going in the right direction positively in order to help you achieve your goals and your objectives. Right? No matter how small an organization is, a team, irrespective of the size and the goals that they have, keeping them together, binding with a common objective and a purpose becomes a very crucial or an integral part of the entire process, the system that we're all working together. Now, unfortunately, as simple as it may sound, this is the most complicated or the most commonly overlooked aspect in many organizations. And I'm talking about big organizations like, well, just to name a few, not specifically, but of course, Amazon, Accenture, Microsoft, they also have these hurdles, the challenges. The reason I've taken some of the big businesses out there is because irrespective, in spite of being there in the market and doing so great, they do find these small things, as in communicating within teams, a challenging process at times, right? So let's just try to understand how we can overcome that. What are the advantages and disadvantages of having good communication in proper teamwork, as well as how we can build this communication in order to be successful as a team, right? Okay, so to begin with, I'm just going to be talking about five main advantages of having good communication in teamwork, along with some experiences and examples that I've personally come across, just to make things well understood and build that clarity as how we can focus and where we can change. So to begin with, the aspect like what Ankita had mentioned, to have a clear understanding of the expectations and the goal. So usually what happens in teams is, I've seen a lot of teams working together. Now they work as individuals, though it's a teamwork. The fact that they are unaware of what the teammate is doing and how it's going to impact the entire task, and what is their role in the entire process which is being put together, right, with all these different team uh, members working together. So in that aspect, people are quite unaware. They focus only on what is being told to them and what needs to be delivered in a particular timeline with the deadlines set up, right? And unfortunately, even that clarity goes for a toss because the expectations are not mentioned clearly. And people tend to they usually tend to fail in asking or building the clarity as what exactly do you expect from me, and how do I go about doing this, and what is required for me to complete this task within the timelines given. Now, there could be various reasons why people hesitate and miss out on this aspect. The fact that they feel they would be judged, looked down, or seen as very incompetent, or questioned on their knowledge as how proficient they are in understanding the entire process, is a fear internally that they build. And because of this insecurity, they tend to stay away and they tend to keep it low and continue with whatever understanding that they have. Now, if they're fortunate and things are good, they're on the right track. But unfortunately, if things are not the way they're supposed to be, and they have a slight disturbance or a misunderstanding of what needs to be done and what they're actually doing, then there could be a huge loss, not only for that particular person, the team, but the organization in whole. I mean, it's a matter of effort, time, and which is directly proportional to money, right? And that's what businesses work on, that's what they thrive on. So, having understood this fact, as me as a team player, how crucial and important is my contribution to this particular aspect of the entire task? and how is it going to influence and help and support the rest of the process, and how is the company benefiting? Or rather, I would just break it up into three levels. First, it's me as an individual, my contribution, having a clarity as what is my skill set and how am I supposed to be utilizing my full potential in applying what is required. What does the team expect from me? Where do I stand in the team, and how am I contributing in helping the team become stronger? And and it's not just the positive aspect of being a team member and supporting the team, but what happens if I do not support, and what happens if I fail to deliver what is expected? So having this clarity on the other side, the consequences is as important as understanding the benefit or the success aspect of it, the purpose of it. Now, these things are taken for granted or left to be assumed or expected to be understood, different aspects of it. But unfortunately, it's not as simple as it sounds or what is assumed. People tend to fail on it, and they are in this dark zone where they assume a lot of things and don't understand the main purpose of what's happening and why they're doing what they're doing, right? So that becomes a challenging aspect. Now, who's responsible for it? I would say the team member and the leader or whoever is associated on the higher side, the senior person who has assigned the task. It becomes an equal responsibility from both the parties to get a clarity, to get an understanding without any personal discrimination or judgment for that matter, and trying to understand what actually is happening. And I feel that is the only way you develop a connect, an ownership, or a sense of belongingness to what actually needs to be done. And that's a very important aspect of communication and successful teamwork in any organization. I could have a startup, I could just be working with an intern. Now, I would just say, okay, your job is just to do this, and I want it done by the end of the day. Don't ask me questions. Please get onto it. If you have any doubts or you're stuck, let me know. Now, this is as simple and basic, whatever may be the scenario or the scope of the work, whether it's a startup, a mid-level company, an organization, or a huge business company which is running. This is usually the way people communicate to their team members and their team, and just say, okay, this is what I'm telling you. Please get it done by so and so time. If you have any questions or concerns, you're most welcome to come back to me, which is fair enough, good, and acceptable. But the fact that the person also on the other side needs to understand they're not just a machine where just owning the button and expected to do what the required work is. They also need to understand as a human, as as an individual, as somebody who's part of the entire process, to feel connected and responsible for every aspect of what is expected from them. What happens if I don't do it? What happens if I do it differently? And how exactly am I supposed to go ahead with it? So, all these aspects play a very vital role where people tend to forget or they miss out. They just assume or they just think that it's okay, no big deal. You're told to do what you're, and if you had doubts, you come back. And if you don't have doubts, fine. Now, this is the instruction that I'm giving as a leader or a team manager or somebody who's running the company. But on the other side, we also need to step into their shoes and understand the thought process that they may be going through. One, they may be lacking experience. Two, they may be confused. They may not have the right skill set. So, getting the right person, understanding their skills, the strengths, and the requirements which are there, along with the weaknesses, plays a very vital role in assigning a task to a person. Now, these again are overlooked, right? And also, the other person may feel very hesitant. They may not have that trust. They may not feel comfortable opening up and sharing with you that, okay, you know what, I am not clear about this. I am not sure what is expected. And you know what, I just don't know how to do it. It could be as simple or as open as that. But are you giving them the liberty? Are you giving them the comfort to speak, open up, to express, and to share? And at whose cost? This is the communication that you need to build with your team member, which plays a very important role. Because if you give them that comfort, trust, and assurance that, hey, things are still good. We're all learners. It's not you who has the problem, but it could be your experience and the knowledge, which can definitely be learned and improved over a period of time. But I get what you're saying, and I'm here to help you. I'm going to support you. Now, this could be a one time effort and an investment of whatever that you need to help that person learn. But in the long run, what comes back is a reward. What comes back is a complete sense of belongingness, commitment, and trust, and a lifetime, a commitment of being very dedicated and focused to what needs to be done. Right. Now, people fail to understand this again. So they just assume that, okay, pick up the information, connect with somebody else, or try to pick pieces and work it out and just get the work done. I don't have the time. I just want the result. I just want the task completed. That's all that matters to me. Right. Fair enough. You don't have the time. But how do you manage your time, and how do you go about not only helping the person build their competence level or their potential, but also to help them feel comfortable and understand what it is, right? That sense of belongingness or ownership. You're working on the relation rather than just focusing on the work. And I feel this is one of the major reasons where companies, people just jump. And even though they invest so much in training them, so much in building their competence levels and giving them that experience and boost, one fine day there is no relation, there's no connect, they get a better opportunity, a better hike or whatever, they just want to leave and jump. And then you're back to square one, starting from the scratch, training and working on another person to build that level, bring them to that level, right? So this is a bigger loss for the company or the teams than rather than investing a little bit of their time, which goes a long way, right? It goes a long way in helping them build a strong and a powerful resource who's not only reliable but very committed to their work as well as the organization for the kind of comfort and the trust that you build in the person. So I feel this communication aspect is very, very important, and it's very deep rooted. It may not be surfaced, you may not get to read about it, or people may not even discuss about it. But you as an individual, whether you are a part of the team or leading a team, it's very crucial for you to understand the dynamics and work on this aspect. Get the matrix in place where you're trying to help build not just the organizational business or profits, but an individual source of resource. And it's like the pillars, it's like the foundation. The foundation is good, obviously you can have Burj Khalifa on top of it, right? So that's all what we need to focus on. So this becomes an important aspect when it comes to the teamwork, understanding, explaining, and building that expectation not only in the the work aspect, but also as an individual. What are your limitations? What is your strength, and how can you actually go about uh, doing what you're supposed to do? And can you push it? Can you learn it? What other aspects are possible, right? So all these aspects are very, very crucial. Now, in addition to this, people think that giving instructions or taking instructions from the task setter or the main team leader is what is the most, or rather the only thing which is important. But in addition to that, having greater efficiency and better relation within the team is equally important. So this becomes the second most important advantage of great communication within the team, where you are helping the team members build relation amongst them. So if somebody is down, not available in a crisis, or there is some kind of a emergency situation where the person is not available, then you have a backup. And delegating work or making each member in the team equally knowledgeable, equipped with what needs to be done in the absence of another person by whatever reason is an important aspect. But unfortunately, what we see is there is a high level of insecurity. People don't want to share, they don't want to let go of their knowledge. Even if they are asked to do a KT, it's only a limited. The main aspects which really play a vital role are held within. They don't want to disclose. They feel, what is my importance if this person is equally competent? I lose the race. I am no more on the top. My requirement or my level of importance is kind of diluted, and I'm no more the most wanted person in demand or required, right? I don't remain a strong resource anymore. So this fear of losing that position and feeling very insecure is one of the major killers in building proper teams. And I feel this can also be resolved with the help of great communication. And here, communication in terms of assuring within the team, making them feel very secure that yes, you are good what you are, and you play a vital role. In your absence, somebody else is going to do the work, complete the task, because ultimately getting the results and achieving the goal and the objective is what really matters. We are here in this together. So I'll just take examples of these car race, etc. etc. There's so many examples that we can talk about where each member is as important as any other member, and it's only with all the members together that the team is successful. Together, we all achieve more. That's what it is. And the fact that the contribution is a teamwork, and it's only then, and it could be diverse. In fact, having a diverse team is very important, because the skill levels, the strengths, the weakness, what I may be really good at, the other person may not, and what the other person may not be, I may be. And putting all these skills together and their strengths is what makes the team very, very powerful and efficient. So building that comfort amongst the team members and giving them that, the assurance and the trust that it's okay, we can share knowledge, and I always have a backup, and we're in this. If you're not there, I'm there for you. And if you can't do this, let me help you complete this. You don't get higher points or higher grades or greater recognition, and I will not be looked down upon. So this is something what a team leader can always keep building on a regular basis, and give building that assurance that yes, it's okay to share, it's okay to ask, it's okay to connect and overcome these challenges depending on the situation and the requirement. And so this kind of a communication is very, very essential within a team. So like I said, keep all the insecurity aside and work on building a successful team. Amongst that, relation between the team members plays a very crucial role in the healthy teamwork that is required. And in addition to that, the satisfaction. This is what happens when you have healthy relationships within a team. There is great job satisfaction. There is amazing, retention of the employees, and there is a positive drive, which is very constructive, I would say. And people get motivated. There's always a positive motivation that you get from the other. Nobody is insecure. There is no challenges. You don't feel challenged that okay, this guy has performed really well and he's getting all the credit and the appreciation. What if I lose my promotion? I am no more recognized. All these aspects, it's very common, and I would say it's very natural and normal for a human. It's a human tendency where people tend to question, and they always want to secure their position, especially in a group, because they feel threatened, basically. What if this? What if that? What if I don't meet? What if the other person is better and they get all these recognition? It's not natural across the globe. It's not just one location, one company, or one kind of a business setup. It could be everywhere, anywhere. So the fact that you need to nurture it with the right ingredients, and keep building their morale and the confidence, and also the focus, the commitment that they have, and how is it that they can work together and how they can support each other, and celebrate the collaboration in different aspects is very, very important. So that moves to the next advantage, where I'm talking about the collaboration of the team. And this collaboration being successful only would happen if you have great communication. So if you are rewarded or recognized for some reason, I would actually celebrate your recognition. I would, congratulate you for your success and wish more and more of such celebrations or success for you, for the team. So it's not just you, but you being a part of the team, and we as a team who's working for this organization, right? So this kind of a positive attitude and a drive towards building things together leads to great success, not only in the team but also as an individual. You become better performers, the productivity level of the teams goes really high, and ultimately the results, the business returns or whatever that you can think of is always, I would say, about 25 to 30% higher than teams which don't have this kind of a motivation. So the motivation is something we need to build from inside, spread it around, and ensure that it is maintained. And there's a consistent effort which is put in nurturing the thought process and the collaboration which happens within a team. Okay. So that's about creating a culture of celebration, not only for your success but for your teammates. Any thoughts here? Anybody would like to add anything? Any points that you would like to, any inputs? Please feel free.
Audience, at this stage, if you want to ask anything or anything that you want to confirm, you can use the chat box and put your questions there. By that time, so that we can continue with the rest of the
Sure.
session.
Thank you for that, Ankita. Yes. So before we move on to the disadvantages of how teams fall and organizations suffer because of lack of communication in teams, there's one other aspect which can be a great credit to excellent communication, which is diffusing the conflict. Conflict is a very natural thing. It could be external, it could be internal. Now, the minute I get up in the morning, I could be having a conflict in my mind whether I should get up at 8 o'clock or 7:30, whether I should have, freshen up, have breakfast before my training, before my meeting, or give it that 1 hour break time and then, have it later, whether I'm going to wear this or that, whether I'm going to go for a drive or not. I mean, we're always constantly, knowingly or unknowingly, in this conflict state of mind. Because the main reason we do this is we want to make the best of the opportunity and the situation that we are into. We fear of making wrong decisions. We fear of not being able to do the best that we can, right? So all these thought process of regret from at a later point makes us think twice, and it could be where you are just hesitant about doing something. It's nothing but a conflict of thought, a conflict of opinion, a conflict of decision, a conflict of doing something, right? So all these aspects, it's very natural and normal. Now, in a team, in an organization where you have diverse people from different backgrounds, experience, thought processes, and of course, professional competence, etc., there is bound to be conflict. Conflict is not something that you can avoid, but it is definitely something you have to diffuse. Now, if you have the right communication in helping the people understand, resolve the differences, then it becomes a blessing in disguise. Because I feel any situation, if approached in a positive perspective, in understanding and helping the person see the other side of it with more positivity, in the right attitude as what they can benefit, what is in it for me. If I have a conflict with another person who could be a junior and yet have higher experience. Now we see this very common in teams. So there is a fresher who's joined the company and he's out of college, and we say, okay, you know what? I call the decisions here and I am in charge because I've been in this company from last 8 years, 9 years, and I know everything what goes around. And everybody reports to me, and I'm the one who gives instructions, and nothing is cleared or approved without my permission. So I'm a part of everything, right? So that's the kind of a thought process which I was encouraged, nurtured, and I have carried it over the years, right? Now, this guy comes in. Now, he's a very basic, highly competent, and excited person for the fact that he's just starting his profession, his career, etc. And at the same time, he comes with loads of knowledge. He's brilliant, he's smart, basically. And that makes me very insecure because all the attention, all the the importance that I was getting for a very long time could be gone with the wind. It could be just down the drain, and people will start looking up to this person. He becomes the new most important resource, a powerful resource in the company, taking my place. And all the years of effort that I have put in, the dedication, the commitment that I've given, years of effort and time is all gone. It's just vanished over a couple of days or months. Now, that makes me very insecure, and I become totally threatened at this situation. And I start developing a conflict with the person. So every time he is asking, he may be very genuine, he may be very positive, he may be very supportive and trying to give the best of the solutions and thoughts, whatever he can, in the interest of the company, the task, the team, the work, etc., etc. There is no personal grudge or a conflict for him. His mind is as clear as a slate. But with me, with all those baggages and having senior, experience and position, I am badly threatened. And every time he puts forth a suggestion, I put him down. I say, no, I don't think that works. I understand you're excited, but I don't think that excitement is what we want here. We want work, we want results. So I'm not only pulling him down, demotivating him, but I'm actually demeaning him in every possible situation so that I kind of suppress him. And I totally make sure that he's nowhere in the picture, and people, not just me, but everybody looks down upon him. Now, this becomes a psychological negative approach that people tend to do unintentionally. It just happens, unfortunately, because they feel threatened. And even though they don't have bad intentions, they may sound very blunt, rude, and start behaving in a different manner because of the threat that they fear. Now, in such a situation, what would one do? Will I continue threatening or demeaning this person, demotivating, discouraging, and losing the interest or the contribution this guy has with all his potential and knowledge of what he can contribute to the company and the team? Do I do that? Or do I think of it more positively and say, you know what? It's okay. If somebody is better, let me encourage him. Because somewhere, if I am going up the ladder, if I give my place here to him, I'm going to go a step higher to that, right? Now, this is a very positive and an open growth mindset that one needs to build in a team. And it happens with a lot of interaction, understanding, and communicating with the person. Try to spend time with the person, try to give him an understanding of what he is and what you are, what is expected. And then after a period of time, we start realizing that it's not that bad. It's not that threatening as we assume it is. It's absolutely fine. He has good intentions, and the more I encourage him, I get also a benefit of building the resource, being the senior person in the organization. People look up to me. They look up to me as a true leader. Now, a leader in the true sense is someone who leads people from the back. It's not just, you follow me, you do what I tell you to do, and you're going to do only what I tell you to do and nothing else other than that. Right. So this becomes a very insecure, threatened state of mind and a position that you have, irrespective of whatever number of years that you own in the company. But the fact that you are suppressing, and it becomes quite evident. People have this misconception that it goes unnoticed, or nobody bothers. I can do what I want to do. But people start talking, and it is very evident that yes, I am pulling somebody down only for the fact that I am threatened, I am insecure, and I see that person more competent than me in many aspects. So instead of, you know, working or approaching it with a negative attitude, try to build a positive aspect to it. Encourage the person, give him all the support, boost him, motivate him, make him perform even better. Because indirectly and directly, also, I would say, you are benefiting from what he is contributing towards the team. And the fact that the results are faster, the tasks are achieved, and you becoming a mentor, a guide for that person, will definitely get a credit. And for the kind of amazing work that you've done in recognizing the talent and the skills that he has, is always a positive example for anybody else in the team to follow. So what happens through this is you build a positive environment around you, which becomes really pleasurable, not only for you to be a part of it, to motivate and grow, gives you a great sense of pride and satisfaction, but also for those who want to step out of their shoes and go to the next level. And people get, they start opening up, they start contributing more, and you never know, the kind of skills and competence levels can always go higher, saying that yes, there is an opportunity, because ultimately that's what everybody looks for. It could be a startup to a multi-million company. If I have an opportunity, if I have a platform where I can prove myself, if I can build my skills and my competence level, and it is recognized, accepted, acknowledged, all these aspects play a vital role for a person to be committed, build that sense of belongingness, ownership, contribute maximum to whatever that they're doing, and retain themselves. Be very loyal to the company, not only for the company, but the team, the organization, and the work that they are told to do. So these aspects are deep, and they're very, very important when it comes to having the right, efficient communication in order to build powerful and successful teams. Okay. So anything at this point, again, if anybody wants to, please feel free to add in the chat box. Otherwise, we will move into the disadvantages of not having good communication on how it impacts a team in a organization. Anything? So let me just give you a minute. Please feel free to chat in the chat box. And if there's anything, we'll discuss, or else move forward.
So, Sudha, I've got one question on our personal chat, but I think we can
Sure.
take it towards the end of the session.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Okay. So let's look on the other side of the coin. Now, we've spoken about so many aspects where it's great to have good communication, or I would say it is an integral part of good team in great organizations with amazing success and results. But on the contrary, if you do not have that communication, unfortunately, what we see around us, what happens to the individual, the team, and the organization? First and the foremost, there is stress, a lot of stress, not only for the results, the goals and the objectives for the organization, but down at the individual basic bottom level, where you're expected to perform your best, but you're unable to, because you're stressed. You're just absolutely stressed. There is fear, there is tension, there's insecurity, and it is impacting your personal life. You want to go back home, you're not able to relax yourself, unwind yourself. You come back all the more frustrated, and you start showing it out on your work. You distance out from people, you minimize your interactions, you prefer to be in your own zone, right, in your own space, where you don't want to interact because you get negative vibes. You feel people start judging, they start speaking behind you, they do not support you, they take your weakness as their strength, and they backstab you even if it's required. So I would say it's just a hell that you're living in. And work no more becomes a pleasure or an enjoyable aspect, and you are just caught up in this vicious circle where you are trying to build your potential, but then you are pulled down, right? And every time you pull down, you get stressed, overloaded, frustrated, too much of baggage that you want to retain yourself from exploring or involving, moving forward. And that builds a lot of frustration as being stuck and stagnant in one particular place and position. So there's no growth. And the minute there is no growth, you're dead. You're like, gone and finished. And that's how individuals die. That's how teams die. And ultimately, the organization doesn't succeed, no matter how great the leaders may have a vision and a mission. If the base where the foundation needs to be set is not properly nurtured and not given the required essential ingredients in order to boost and build their resource system, then the entire process and the system goes for a toss. So unfortunately, you have these leaders on the top who are amazing, brilliant. They are like, they have the highest of their visions, a perfect thought process, a strategic plan. Everything seems just perfect. It's like there's nothing that can go wrong. They have the key to success. But unfortunately, what they fail to see is the root. If the plant is not watered and nurtured at the root level, no matter how beautifully it may look for some time on the top with the flowers and the fruits, eventually it will start dying out. And if you're not giving it the right source of sunlight and the nutrients, the fertilizers, etc., etc., then it starts dying out. And over a period of time, what you see is a disaster. So, unfortunately, this stress, because of the kind of environment which is built due to the lack of communication, interaction, collaboration, coordination, can be a killer for the company in the long run. So, it's always advised that you tap and track on every aspect of the growth the company requires, and keep recapping and revising on the vision and the mission statement. Are people fitting into it? Create a kind of a hierarchy where people who can go and reach out, and also have these step level meetings where you're reaching out to the root level resource. How do they feel? What are their challenges? What is it that they really love about the company? And what is it that they can suggest? Imagine the CEO or the top company owner comes down to a fresher who's just joined, or a regular employee, a resource, and says, can you please suggest certain things which can help build this company better? Can you suggest what will make the company a more lively and a happy place to work? Imagine, I mean, he or she may not have the answers, but the pride they take, the level of importance that they feel for being given that respect, given that opportunity to share and express, is unimaginable. And this is what is required in order to nurture that positive culture within the company, the work culture that they say, right? I feel that is what makes or breaks the success of a company, a team, or an individual. And to maintain that becomes the most important aspect of any organization. In addition to that, when you do not meet the expectations and the need, rather than being targeted, discriminated, or just looked down upon as someone who is unable to perform, try to understand, mentor, coach, and also help the person build the skills. Because it's very easy to lay off a person and get a new resource. All you do is recruit. People are so much into recruitment. They want to show that we have recruited so many people. But what is the level of layoffs also? Where is the company standing? How is the business progressing? It's not like, if your recruitment level is high, it's not like you're growing massively. It could be the other way around too. People are leaving your company. And what seems to be the reason? It's like I have this huge tank and I'm filling it with gallons and gallons of water. And I feel so proud because I'm going to make the tank full, and it's going to be the best tank which is providing a lot of water for a whole village. But what I fail to see is right at the bottom of the tank, there's this huge hole which keeps leaking out gallons and gallons of water. So the more I fill, the more the level goes down. And I keep putting in my 100% effort continuously, failing to recognize and understand what is it that is causing the level to fall down. So it's not just filling, but also understanding why or where it is leaking. So these two aspects for an individual, and I feel this is a mindset, a growth mindset, which needs to be inculcated right from an individual, not just the CEOs and the leaders of the company who is a founder or a starter or whatever it may be, an entrepreneur or a business head, but also at an individual level. What is it that I'm contributing? What am I doing for the company? And where is it that I can do more? Not only to build the company, but my individual profile, right? My skills, my strength. So these aspects are very, very important. And for a leader or a team of people at every level to understand this, to share this, to speak about it, and also tap on it on a regular basis to recheck, right? Self introspection, they say, right? Create a system, create a process, create tools which will help you go in that direction, put in that thought process where you're always positively growing, building, developing, contributing, right? Motivating yourself and others. So this is an important aspect which needs to be nurtured within a company, right? So if someone has unmet the needs and expectation, it is nothing to look down upon. It is something to work more and take it up as a task and a challenge in itself, in helping to build and strengthen the entire team, right? And that can be beautifully done through the proper channel of communication, positive reinforcement, encouragement, rewarding, and working on the skill set through coaching, mentoring, and interaction, all these aspects. And of course the morale also, because otherwise if this is not taken care, though it may sound like a very small thing, okay, if you leave the company, I have another person, I can always recruit better people with more experience, and it's okay, I may end up paying more, but I have my work done. But in the long run, if you see, it really doesn't help the company grow. You are losing more than what you're investing. And that's a very crucial aspect of business strategy that organizations need to work on and keep checking on a regular basis, because there could be physical and mental issues for the individual itself. They are, in this stress state of mind, which doesn't help them perform better. The productivity comes down. So what are the reasons? Do you have any personal challenges, concerns? How is it affecting you? So all these aspects are very, very important when it comes to building good teams and having the transparency and equality, as you all mentioned, what is required in a team, a good, proper, efficient team, right? And of course, ultimately, all this will lead to dissatisfied clients. Now, that's the biggest challenge, or that's one area that you would never want to get into, because the clients will either take back their project, the task, or leave it hard halfway, midway, in a very bitter state of mind. Or there could be a lot of escalations that can be raised. It becomes unmanageable and leading to extra effort and time and resource, rather than solving it the way it needs to be. So setting up a process, having the proper system, ensuring that every element or a resource of that system is in a healthy state of mind and performing to their fullest potential, at the same time ensuring there are no challenges, because it's not like the waves are smooth all the time. There could be turbulence, there could be a huge raise of the waves, and it could be a storm at any point of time. So having an outlook for that, and being able to manage it in a very smooth and a concise manner is very, very important when you are a part of a team running the organization, leading it, or whatever may be the situation that you are in, right? The circumstance that you are dealing with. And for every person to feel this way and to work on it this way is very, very important. Okay, so these are some of the things that I wanted to discuss on the disadvantages of not having proper communication. If anybody wants to add anything, please feel free to do so in the chat box. Or any thoughts, inputs that you would like to give, please feel free.
Uh, I don't see anything in the chat box, Sudha. So,
Okay, sure.
yeah.
No problem. Fine. Okay, that's great. If you have any questions, we can always take it to the end as well. So we've understood different aspects from what we look around, the advantage, disadvantage, and let's just understand how we can improve communication in teams, which is a very important aspect of proper, efficient teamwork. First of all, set the expectations clearly, have a list of priorities, what is required, what is not required, and what can be done later, etc. And understand the skill set, the strengths, the limitations, the weakness, and threats and opportunities that a person, I would say, do a SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat for each and every individual. Try to understand what their personal aspirations are and bridge it or connect it to the expectations of the organization. Only then do we see a success or a faster growth rate, not only in the performance and the productivity, but also in the outcome of the results and the business success overall. Right. So matching the personal aspirations with the organizational expectations is very, very important. And what is it that they are looking forward to? What is it that they want to build their skills? Where is it? It's not like I've put you here because there is a gap there or there is a requirement and I want you to learn something and just do it because I am leading the company and this is where I want you to fit. He or she may not fit. So understanding that aspect is very, very crucial. Now engage with casual conversations, interactions, become friendly but not like a total friend, right? Where you are trying to build that comfort level of trust and open mindedness, where you're giving them the freedom to speak their thoughts, share their opinions, suggestions. Even if I do not like somebody or don't like a process or a procedure that's happening in a particular setup, I should have the freedom, the confidence, and the liberty to say it, to express it, to openly speak my mind and say, you know what, I like everything around, but this is something which I feel can be changed, can be different. And I would suggest this. If it is done, it will be great. So this is a very, a delicate way or a beautiful aspect of how one can contribute towards building a good, positive environment for not only themselves but also for everybody else. At the same time, if you have any conflict differences with everybody, give anybody in the team or in the organization, give them the opportunity to speak, share, express, and work on it. Help them and support them with the right kind of communication, giving them regular feedback. So, constructive feedback always works. I always believe this because if I am not satisfied with any of my teammate, I would give them critical feedback, but it is so constructive and motivative that the next thing that I know, they go back and they start working on their areas of improvement, taking the suggestions seriously, and they start applying to see the differences. And I do a regular follow up, and I keep telling them, you know what, you're doing amazing, you're doing great. I'm so thrilled and surprised. Your level of performance and productivity has gone up so high. This is amazing. This is brilliant. This is exactly what I expected from you. I know you're capable. Now, all these words may sound very basic and simple, but they are great boosters, not only for your performance, but as an individual. You feel high, you feel more confident. So these are few ways that you can communicate to the person how essential, how important, and how integral part of the company that they are, the resource that they are. And I value you, I respect you, you mean a lot, irrespective of what experience or background that they come from. And for that, I am willing to give you all the support that I can. And in return, you help yourself and you are helping the organization and all of us grow together. So we are in this together. So that team spirit needs to be communicated very regularly and in a very clear, transparent, and a powerful manner, which kind of reassures the person to keep going on driving themselves in the right direction, right? With a lot of results which comes up. And of course, care, check on their goals, acknowledge the success every time that they have it, and spread a lot of positive energy, right? Be active listeners, irrespective of what the person may be, the position or designation. If they come to you for help and support, please have the time. Take some time out, listen to them properly, and tell them, make them feel comfortable that, yes, look, hey, I'm there for you, right? I'm here to listen, I'm here to help you, I am here to do whatever that is required, because we are in this as a team and we will do it together. If there's something that you need, I'm there for you. So this assurance goes and takes a very long way, and that's what is really required, right? And diffuse any kind of a conflict by regularly checking, resolving, and working on it immediately. Take opinions if it is required, find out the root cause, understand what is required to kind of dilute it out, and then make things better, right? Because if you are happy and they are happy, everything else is going to be work together and it will be successful, right? So these are various aspects that we need to work on apart from the technical work, which is actually important and required. It is the relation, the communication, the collaboration, and the coordination, and most importantly, the thought process and the mindset that you cultivate, inculcate into the individual right from day one, right? And then there doesn't have to be a last day. Trust me, neither for them nor for you. You become a strong team together. You become like an extended family. You're there for each other. And this, I feel, is the secret to successful teams and successful organizations, irrespective of the size of the company and the number of people that work together. If this is followed in a very consistent manner, then ultimately you will be successful, and you will also ensure people around you are also successful along with you, right? So like they say, if it's not necessary that one has to have perfect communication. Communication is very subjective to what you convey and feel. It's not necessary you are highly proficient in English. You're able to express your thoughts. It does play an important role, I do not discard it, but the fact is how you feel and how you convey your emotions, your thoughts and your feelings to the other person, as what you think of them and what is your intention, is what really matters. It could be very basic and simple, but at the same time you're giving the right message and it sounds very encouraging and positive. That is all that matters, right? And it may not be the perfect communication, but it is definitely what leads to successful growth mindset and ultimately leading to great teamwork. Okay, so I mean, I can just go on and on. I just love talking about this topic, but I think for this session I will pause here, stop here. And if you have any questions or anything that you would like to share, please feel free to do that. I'll be really excited to hear from you all as well, in the chat box or directly.
Right. So unfortunately, we are running out of time. But the one question that I had got, I think I would just like to take that up. So someone mentioned to me about this entire gap culture that is coming because of multiple reasons, right? Like people are joining back work after a break for a few years. Now that break for women can be around their wedding and then shifting and then pregnancies and all of that, but
Right.
also there are new reasons emerging, like people are starting to set up their own businesses and they manage their businesses for a few years and they travel
Correct.
and work and then they come back in the corporate organization. And then there's this gap that is felt that people who are existing employees also have a
Mhm.
little hard time to connect with them because they are not really working in the
Right.
industry for a particular time. And
Right.
even for someone who is joined again, sees like a new thing, a new culture, or a lot of changes within the organization. So uh, I do believe that communication is the key for this as well. But then from both sides, if you can just quickly tell us as to how we can kind of bridge that gap and make those people feel welcome, and also from that person also to understand the organization culture. What is the best way to approach that?
Absolutely wonderful. It's a beautiful question, and it's quite common, or rather, I know a couple of people personally who have, stopped working. I mean, they do not get back to work because they had a break and they don't know where to start. It becomes a big $1 million question as how do I start? Where do I start? What do I do? I've lost the touch. I don't have the connect. And especially it applies to women because of the personal reasons, marriage, kids, business, whatever it may be. I see the women having this challenge more than the guys, but of course, it works. I mean, it is there for both the genders as well. Now, how do we approach this, or how do we make the person feel welcome? First and foremost, giving them the surety and the confidence that they are capable, right? Understanding their strengths and making them feel proud or confident of what they can perform and what is expected out of them and what needs to be built. Now, a gap can always kind of slow down things in the way that you work or in the way that you approach or do things, etc., right? There may be a gap in your level of knowledge also. So what is it that is required for you to fit the bill? What is it that is required to give your performance to your 100% as per the expectations of the company needs to be listed out. For example, if I'm back into the company after a break of 3 years because I've had my kids, I got married, or I just wanted to take a break from everything, and then now one fine day I just get up and say, oh, I'm going to go back to work. So what do? I will list down what is required in this particular position. For me as an individual, identify what work interests me in the interest of the time and the involvement of the skill and my ability to do what is required, right? My experience in the past, etc., etc. So I approach the company, I be very transparent and honest in telling these are my reasons, this is what I have, and these are my strengths, and this is what I want to build. Right. So are you going to be supportive? And this is there an opportunity that you can give? Because rather than fostering on something which is not concrete or you are not confident and sure about, it's better to be transparent and get the support from day one. If the company or the individual is unwilling to support you and build you to that level and have high expectations, then it's going to be a complete mismatch, right? So either you tell them to help you support, build to that level of proficiency which is required, that competence level, or else you yourself will fit into something which where you feel your performance can be matched with your experience and etc etc, right? But there has to be a start somewhere. Now if everybody thought that I cannot make a comeback, then I believe not only a comeback becomes impossible, but even a startup becomes an impossible. Because even as a fresh grad, you come with zero experience, zero exposure to things, but you make a start somewhere, right? And it leads you step by step somewhere else. And people need to appreciate and accept it that yes, I've had a break, but I'm coming back. I'm willing to put in double of what I earlier did, and this is where I need to improvise. I'm going to work on it. So have that dialogue, have that understanding, understand the process, system, expectations, and your limitations along with your strengths, and build on what where the gaps are. And I'm sure you can fit into any kind of a designation, role, team, or an organization, provided you get the right support and have the right thought process for getting into it. I do a lot of sessions on women empowerment, and trust me, people working in a company also, they are finding it a challenge to accept promotions. They're very competent and capable, and I feel women naturally are multitaskers and amazing managers, right? Just comes with birth, with the number of tasks that they do, house, outside, kids, work, etc etc, right? So but then they are in this dilemma. I cannot, if I become a manager, it's promising, it's paying, the package is heavy, and I get a lot of recognition, and I get to see and experience so many things which I always wanted. But what happens to my kids? What happens to my house? I need to be there for so and so time. I may have to travel, right? Which becomes a challenge. I can't do that. So all these questions stop women, especially, or any person, to take up that challenge or the task, and they just want to limit themselves to whatever they are. On the contrary, they can be highly potential and competent for taking up higher challenges and positions. So for such people, to help them understand their strengths and what is the benefit that they can get out of it, not only in the monetary basis, but also as an individual, the confidence and the contribution that they give towards the organization and build their own potential is very important. So I bring leaders who speak about it, how they overcome challenges. We do a psychometric analysis, helping them understand where their strengths are and how they can work on it, and how they can actually manage their personal challenges. And everything and anything can be managed. So, guys, if you ever have this, I do not know who has sent this wonderful question, but the fact that do not refrain yourself, hold yourself back. If you feel that you cannot make a comeback, or you cannot live up to the expectation, or perform what is expected, that's a total uh, disaster. I would say it's very unfair for you to feel that way about yourself. As simple as that. Take the challenge, put in your effort, and you will be proud. Looking back, you will feel really happy and proud to have taken that decision at some point of time. So if you need more suggestions and thoughts on this, please feel free to reach out to me. Ankita, if you can share my number or contact, then I would love to help the person.
Sure.
In the interest of time, I think I hope I was able to answer your question. And but then on an individual basis, we can always discuss your challenges and what can be done, do a psychometric analysis, and understand what needs to be done, right? Okay, thank you so much for that question.
Thank you, Sudha. So, guys, as she mentioned, in case you have any more questions, I'm sure you must be having a few questions. You can reach out to her through her LinkedIn profile. I'm pretty sure she'll be more than happy to respond through that. So, do ask in case you have any other questions. And Sudha, I want to thank you so much for taking out time and actually taking us through this. As you rightly said, it's a very simple topic to kind of talk about, like hear about, but actually a lot of things go into that, and it's really interesting the way you kind of fleshed it out and spoke about the advantages and disadvantages and all of that. So thank you so much for that, and thank you audience for attending in today's session. In case we
Thank you
don't
so
meet for
much.
the rest of the week, have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Ankita, and wish you a very safe and a prosperous new year. Let's all hope and pray 2021 has a lot of things promising things for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Take
Thank you.
care.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Happy New Year. Thank you. Bye bye.
you.